All right, hey everyone, welcome back to this week's episode of Beginning Flute. So if you're playing out of the blue book for flute or the pink book, this is your lesson. Again, down below the video in the description, we have a link that you can pull up the music alongside of the screen and see it full screen. Otherwise, I will have it here next to me shortly for the music that we're working on today. And as always, if you have any questions while we're doing the live feed, go ahead and post them in the chat. You will need your parents' account, which is unlocked, so that you can communicate with me. Otherwise, stay tuned and let's go ahead and do some stuff. Here we go. I'd like to review some of the notes that we did last week on our video. The first week we kind of took a look at some of the notes that the pink book players were working on. Last week we focused on some of the notes in the blue book, and going forward we're going to pretty much exclusively use the blue book. That's why I provided the music down below for you. So in the blue book we use B flat and E flat. Let's go over those two notes really quickly so we know if there's anyone else watching from the pink book how to do that. B flat, so our thumb, first finger on that little key, first finger in the right hand. Here we go, let's play B flat together. Ready, set, play. Great. Now let's do E flat, which if you know how to play D, it's pretty similar to D, which is all of your fingers, and then we lift our first finger to get the doggy ears. This is how you play D, right? D for dog ears. E flat, we're just going to put our pinky down, just like that, and we get E flat. Let's play that note. Ready, set, go. All right. So those are the two flat notes that we're going to need to know how to play. The other notes, C natural, D natural, and F and G natural. You may see variations on some of those, but basically we're doing those natural notes and B flat and E flat for this lesson. Okay, so why don't we play a song that's pretty familiar to most of us, Twinkle Twinkle Little Star. It's pretty easy to read and to remember, use your ear, and you know how Twinkle Twinkle Little Star goes. It's also the same melody as the alphabet song and Ba Ba Black Sheep. So whatever song you're most familiar with, you can sing those words in your head while we play it. Just be careful, some of the notes are not written in. So let me zoom in on it for you. These two notes right here in highlighted yellow don't have note names inside of the note heads, but I bet you guys can figure this out by now. This is the highest space, and all the spaces on the lines, all the spaces on the musical staff, we read from bottom to top. They spell the word face, and they rhyme, right? Space and face rhymes, so you can remember it that way. The bottom space is F, then A, then C, and then the top space is E. But like I said, just in the intro here, the E's that we're going to be playing primarily in this book are going to be E flat. So make sure you're playing E flat there on those highlighted yellow notes. And then the same goes for the line below it. You're going to see the first two notes are F in that line, and then two more E flats coming up. All right, let's try Twinkle Twinkle. When we get to the end, I'll ask you a question. And if you're logged in, please use the chat to answer the questions, or you can just tune in and ask questions in the comments later on. Here we go. Twinkle Twinkle, have ye any wool? Or the alphabet song. Here we go. Ready, 2, 3, B flat, go. E flat. at the end of line 2, and that's usually where we stop playing music. Is at the very end of any written music. That's usually where we stop. But I bet some of you are saying, wait a minute, we didn't finish Twinkle. How are we supposed to play the rest of this song? Well, if you look at the words that are right above Twinkle Twinkle, it says D, C, all fine. And that's Italian, and it's an abbreviation of the words da capo al fine, which means go back to the beginning and play al fine, or until the fine sign. So you see the DC al fine, the very last measure, with the 2 D's and a C. It says DC al fine. Go back to the beginning and then play al fine until the end of line 1. And that should finish it out. And if you used your ear and said, hey, we're not done with this song, you probably went back to the beginning and played that already. So let's finish it up here. Ready? Let's take the DC back to the beginning and play al fine. 1, 2, ready, play. Good, and that's the true end of the song right there. We talked about first and second endings last week. The reason that they put that in the music as opposed to writing it out again is to make it shorter, right? To make the music not so long, not to waste paper, not to have to rewrite the thing over and over again. So this is another instance where it's kind of a shortcut. The composer already wrote the music, and they're just directing you to go back to the beginning and play it a second time until the fine, where the ending is. They could have rewritten that music, but it would have been a whole nother line of music, and it would have taken more time. That's why they just wrote DC, al fine, and then the fine symbol. Great. Here's another tune that you guys are probably familiar with, Beethoven's Ode to Joy. That's the picture of that composer to the side of the music. That's Ludwig van Beethoven. You guys know his Ode to Joy, and probably the Fifth Symphony if you watch Fantasia. Dun 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 dun, dun 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 dun. That's Beethoven. So you're pretty familiar with Ode to Joy, and the way this one's supposed to sound. It doesn't have a DC al fine. It has a DS al fine. That's different. It means dal segno al fine, or go back to the sign. The segno is that weird little S symbol with the 2 dots. I just highlighted it for you with the 2 dots. So in music, when we go dal segno, we go back to the sign. And if you notice, it's not the beginning. It's line 2. So this is another shortcut, so they didn't have to write line 2 over again. And also, it's less confusing than the DC. So you don't have to go all the way back to the beginning. You just go back, play line 2 until the fine. All right. So why don't we try Ode to Joy? The only notes we need to know for this one are the same ones we just did in Twinkle Twinkle above. Okay. So B flat, C, D, E flat, F. Those are the only 5 notes in the entire song. So be careful. Make sure the E's that have no notes written in them, they're E flats. Okay. So double check those notes. Okay, let's try the Ode to Joy together. And if you have questions, please use the chat on the side. Here we go. 1, 2, ready, play. Line 3. Now we DS back to line 2 and play until the end of line 2. Ready, line 2. How did you do with Ode to Joy? Did you make it back to the DS Alfine? If you did, let me know. And if you have questions, go ahead and post them in the chat. We're going to keep moving on here. I want to refresh our memory from last week. We played Yankee Doodle with the new note A flat. So take a second and review the A flat fingering up on the top of the page. It's kind of like the note G. So we're going to put our left hand down, thumb, 1, 2, 3. The right hand, pinky, just helps you hold the instrument. So put that down if you like. If you forget it, that's totally fine. So left hand all the way down. We put our left pinky on this golf club key sticking out here. And remember, this pinky forbids you from playing any other note. So we want to make sure to only ever play the pinky when we're playing A flat. Okay, A flat gets this pinky, but then you got to take it off for G or any other note below. Okay, so if I try to play a D with my A flat pinky still down, watch. It doesn't really work. I still get kind of like an A flat. So none of the keys work in the right hand unless you lift off that pinky. Okay, so it's kind of a tricky thing for flute. Just remember to only play that when you're playing A flat. Okay, and if no one has questions, we'll play through Yankee Doodle just to remind ourselves how to play A flat. And then there's some new stuff coming up after this. Ready? Yankee Doodle. 1, 2, ready, go. Very nice. Did you remember E flat as well? This song we have to play B flat, E flat, and A flat. 3 flats out of the whole tune, and the rest of the notes are natural, like we normally play. Okay. If anyone has questions about the Yankee Doodle, let me know in the chat. That one was the challenge piece last week too, so hopefully you guys are still working on it. You can send me videos. Homework at theorchestraplace.com. Show me how fast you're able to play Yankee Doodle. Remember, this one is supposed to be much faster, almost the same way you're used to singing it. Yankee Doodle went to town. It's pretty fast. So if you can play it that fast, go ahead and send us a video of yourself playing it, and we can feature you in another video next time. Okay. Let's go on to page 22 and talk about this thing at the top of the page called a key signature. Okay, the key signature, you'll see there's a picture of it right at the top. Okay, the key signature shows you exactly what notes to play throughout the entire piece. All right, so in this case, the key signature has B flat, E flat, and A flat. It's those 3 flat signs that come right after the treble clef. The B flat is the first one in the middle of the staff. The E flat is on the E space at the top. The A flat is just in that A space on the bottom. Okay, so this is another shorthand trick that composers didn't want to keep writing in flat signs all over the place, so they write them at the beginning of the line and expect you to just play them throughout the entire piece of music. Okay, so in number 41, it's a ringer. They're not going to write a flat next to the E flat or a flat next to the A flat like we did C in Yankee Doodle. I'm going to go back up to Yankee Doodle, and you'll see there's a flat sign next to the A in line 2. Okay, so they don't do that when they write it in the key signature. They want you to remember. And it's one of those things that the more you practice reading key signatures, the more it becomes ingrained, and you can just look at it one time and remember for the entire song. Okay? Some pieces of music have key signature changes or key changes. So halfway through the music or some time through the music, they'll change the key signature to a different key, and usually they'll write it pretty clearly so you can't miss it. But most of the music in here doesn't change keys. I don't think any of the music changes keys. So each time we go to a different song, the first thing you want to do is just look at the key signature. And for both songs on this page, It's a Ringer and Polly Wolly Doodle, they both have 3 flats in the key signature. So B flat, E flat, A flat for both songs. All right, so let's try It's a Ringer. We're just playing basically 4 notes: E flat, F, G, A flat, and a couple different combinations of those 4 notes. Here we go. Let's try it. Half notes. 1, 2, 1, 2, ready, play. Good. And I hope you're all practicing holding a note for as long as possible. Maybe you noticed my playing, I was trying to play 4 measures in one breath, right? So that would have been, what's 4 times 16? Anyone have quick math? 4 times, wow, 4 times 4, I gave you the answer, sorry. 16 beats in one breath I was going for. But you can try to do 2 measures in one breath. That would be 8 beats in one breath. 1 measure in one breath is minimum. If you can do that, that's great. Okay, we want to try and stretch our breath for at least 4 beats, hopefully all the way up to 8 beats, or if you're really working hard on it, you probably get closer to 16 beats in one breath. That's one entire line in It's a Ringer, or 4 measures. Cool. So if anyone has questions on that one, let me know. Otherwise, I'm going on to Polly Wolly Doodle, and this is our last song for today. Okay, this is also on page 21, page 22, just below It's a Ringer. Polly Wolly Doodle has way more notes in it, so double check our key signature. We're playing B flat, E flat, A flat. Remember, so if there's no flat written next to it, if it's a B, an E, or an A, you want to make sure you're playing the flat version of those notes. Good. We also need to play G. Where else do we have? We have high A flat. There are no B flats in the song. Did you guys see that? We're kind of just sticking to D, E flat, F, G, A flat. So we actually can skip C and B flat in this song and just those couple notes, 6 notes, right? D, E flat, F, G, A flat, 5 notes. All right, and then the only other complicated thing in this piece is the first and second endings. And if you remember from our first video, we talked about it in Stoodlepumpa, the first and second endings, where you play the piece of music until you get to the first ending, take the repeat back to the beginning, play the music again, and then skip the first ending, go to the second ending. So first time, first ending, second time, second ending. Should be pretty straightforward. Let's give it a try. Polly Wolly Doodle, bum, 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 8th notes, bum, bum, half note, and then a bunch of 8th notes like the Cabbage song. Ready? Give it your best try, and then let me know in the comments if you have questions. 1, 2, ready, play. Repeat. second ending. Very good. Okay, if anyone has questions, now's the time. Let me know if you have questions about Polly Wolly Doodle or any of the other songs that we worked on. Remember, for playing any piece of music, you want to check your key signature. Make sure you know the notes contained in that song, and you're not playing a natural version of the note if it's telling you to play a flat version of the note. Go ahead and review your key signature at the top of this page. And so if nobody has any questions, I'll go ahead and end the video for now, and I'll see you next week. All right.